What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So today we are headed home from work. Good busy day at work, actually. But we're talking about my 2024 F-150 Raptor. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for, I don't know, a couple months maybe, you know that I picked this up in, I guess, December of last year. So I've had it for a couple months and it has been absolutely phenomenal. As far as buyer's remorse, there is none. This truck is absolutely incredible. And that's kind of the point of today's video. Obviously, a big part in my life, and really the whole reason that this channel exists in the first place, is my love for cars and trucks and tinkering with stuff and modding and making everything your own. And really, when I set out to buy a truck and get into the truck game, I really had the same intentions. You know, let's make it my own. Let's do some aftermarket modifications here and there. Not that I wanted to build like a SEMA truck or something, but, you know, do enough to make it your own and, you know, enjoy driving said truck day in and day out and all that. I mean, it's, I don't know, fairly self-explanatory, I guess, but it's the same, you know, mentality I have with my cars, my WRX back in the day, my Supra, and many more cars to come in the future. But what I have ultimately decided, and this is not kind of a end-all be-all type of statement I'm about to make, but what I came to the conclusion of is this truck is amazing. I love everything about this truck. There's not a time that I drive this truck, regardless of the scenario or the situation, I'm like, this really is just kind of an average truck. Like, it's fine, but it could use some work. No, this thing is awesome. And basically what I have come to the conclusion of is I don't know that there's anything I want to do to this truck. And as weird as that sounds, like from my perspective coming out of my mouth, I think it's true. This truck is perfect in so many different ways. And I guess perfect is a strong word, right? There's always going to be different areas that a car or a truck can be improved. Nothing's going to be 100% perfect from the manufacturer. But for my purposes and the reason I bought this truck, I really couldn't ask for anything more out of this platform. Just to name a few. Number one, the exterior. I think the exterior of this truck is absolutely amazing. I think it looks good. I think it's aggressive, but not too aggressive, if that makes sense. It just has a lot of really, really aggressive yet subtle features, if that makes sense, to differentiate this from, you know, a standard F-150 or, of course, other trucks in the market today. It just looks really, really good. Another point to make from the aesthetic side of things is going to be the suspension and just the way that this truck sits on the road. And then we'll segue into the actual topic of suspension and why suspension is there in the first place. But, you know, a lot of times I would say at a minimum, the first thing you should do with a truck is at least level it. If not, getting a suspension lift and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, this truck does not have that problem. It comes leveled from factory and, of course, utilizes the unbelievable Fox suspension. And once again, from a exterior, you know, aesthetic perspective, I don't know that you could ask for anything more out of this truck. But on the topic of suspension, not from a, you know, exterior perspective, let's talk about the performance. The Fox shock system that is on this truck has absolutely blown me away in more ways than one. Now, have I really put this truck through its paces on true off-road kind of Baja-y type stuff? No. But that is something I am going to do. This is not going to be just a strict pavement princess. Oh, I can't get it dirty. I can't get rock chips. No, it's a truck. It's designed to go off-road. So at a certain point in time, we are going to do that. What I can tell you, however, is just the actual way that it rides on the road, especially when taking into consideration the different suspension modes. From your, let's call it stock form and your normal driving mode, the suspension is fine. You know, it's a fairly stiff dampening shock and drives like pretty much any other truck would. I don't think there's anything about it from stock form that screams, oh my God, the suspension's so loose and it floats and all this. I think it's set up very, very well. Now, personally, the mode that I like to drive in the most is Baja mode. One, because you have it at your disposal, so why not use it? But I also enjoy how kind of floaty it is. And if there are speed bumps, which here in Greenville, there seem to be a metric shit ton of speed bumps. You can hit those speed bumps at any speed. Sometimes maybe a little faster than you should. But even on your standard road driving, like I'm doing right here, right now, as you can see down there, I am in Baja mode. I am in full, basically, exhaust, steering, everything. And I just like the way that it feels. It feels a lot more sporty to me. Yes, it floats and kind of, goes, for lack of a better term. And you don't feel everything, but I like that. I think it really shows how technologically advanced this truck is in general, but specifically the suspension to have kind of the best of both worlds, right? From the normal everyday street driving, especially when we start talking about towing and that type of stuff where it will stiffen everything up. And then of course you go the, complete 180 from that in the Baja setup. I think it is a very, very versatile suspension where you're not really, caveat there is towing, but you're not really giving up any sort of comfortability aspect or anything like that because you have a one-size-fits-all suspension. The different modes that the suspension offers is unbelievable, and I wouldn't change a dang thing about it. One other big area that I personally would change almost immediately on 99% of trucks is, of course, the wheel and tire setup. I, historically speaking, absolutely hate OEM manufacturers' wheel designs and, of course, the tires that they put on the trucks. Now, the wheels I can't get over. I don't know how so many damn ugly wheels are on the road today, straight from the manufacturer. I don't think it should be that hard to get a decent looking wheel, but apparently the manufacturers think differently. I personally love the wheels that are on this truck. It wouldn't necessarily be my first cup of tea, if that makes sense, but I think it flows well with the truck and gives it, once again, kind of that off-roady feel with the bead locks and the this and the that, right? Now, of course, you can have great wheels, but if you don't have great tires, then you're kind of shit out of luck. And that's one thing that I don't necessarily fault manufacturers for, because they put radial tires on their trucks. They know that 99% of trucks are just going to be daily drivers. They're not going off-road. They're not doing Baja things. They're not going out on trails and whatever. But the Raptor, the Ford manufacturers with the Raptor specifically know what market they're going after. And the 35s that we have on this truck and the KO2s are perfect. I think, obviously, the 35-inch tire is great. I think the tread width is great. And as stupid as it sounds, I think just the look of the tread looks amazing. And it really sets this truck off as kind of an off-road warrior, even though that might not be where it lives permanently. But it just has that nice, subtle, yet aggressive characteristics, such as the wheels and tires, that really make this truck one of a kind. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that one of the main things that I like to do on new vehicles, more often than not, is change up the lighting. For all of my previous cars, they've all come with halogen lights, which I absolutely hate. It is 2025. Why are we still running halogens? let's upgrade those to LEDs. Of course, we don't have that problem in the Raptor, and honestly, the LEDs and just the lighting in general on this truck looks unreal. Both the daytime running lights, the tail lights, in my opinion, are amazing. Even the grill lights, which is a very signature Raptor thing to do, it just looks really, really good. Now, one of the most impressive feats of lighting on this truck, outside of your standard headlights and tail lights that are required by the DOT, are the stock rigid fog lights in the bumper. You've got 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and they are toggled right here with that auxiliary switch. I think that is a very nice touch on Ford's part, and they're awesome. I didn't even know that that was a thing until I bought the truck, to be honest with you. But I have very much enjoyed having stock LED fog lights in the bumper, as opposed to buying my own lights and doing the install myself. It just makes life a heck of a lot easier. So with all that being said, this truck, I couldn't ask for anything more. Yes, it's not a cheap truck, but in my opinion, you get the best bang for your buck as you possibly could. There's not anything else to be desired, in my opinion. It is just a solid vehicle that Ford has put out, and has obviously built a reputation in the Raptor name to be top of its class in, SUVs and trucks at this point in time. Now, let's talk about one thing that does intrigue me with this truck as far as modifications go, and it's these puppies right here. As I just mentioned, the rigid fog lights are wired to the aux1 switch, and that is cool. But the pilot in me wants to have all of the switches be functional and feel like I'm in a damn fighter jet or something. And so if I were to do anything to this truck, which, let's be honest, I probably will, I want to be able to wire into those aux switches. I just think that would be really, really cool. Do I know what I want to do with those specifically? Absolutely not. What I'll tell you I'm absolutely not going to do is put a big ass light bar on the roof or, something tacky like that. I would want it to be very functional and sleek looking. I guess I don't know what I don't know. I haven't done a whole lot of research. I've been super happy with the truck as is, so I want to keep it that way as long as possible. But for some odd reason, I find myself just hitting these things all the time. And maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but I want to utilize them. Call me weird, call me whatever you want. I don't know. You can't tell me anything that I haven't heard a million times before, but I digress. So guys, that's going to do it for another episode of Gearbox. Once again, this truck has been nothing but great to me. And if this is any sign for you to go out and buy an F-150 Raptor, please do it. You won't regret it. I promise you that. So guys, if you like this video, please give it a big fat thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. And until next time, peace.